Kael Landry sat at the edge of a small brook, the babbling water a gentle melody against the haunting silence of the forest around him. Exile had stripped him of the grand halls and bustling life he once knew, leaving only the solemn company of nature as his refuge. Yet, today, there was a disturbance in the air, a quiet murmur of destiny approaching. His eyes lingered on the letter, its parchment worn, the ink slightly smudged from handling. The message was as enigmatic as it was urgent: beware, for shadows gather. A forgotten bond must be reckoned with. Seek and you shall protect the realm. It bore no signature, but Kael recognized the wax seal, Lord Sylas Blackthorn, a name once spoken with respect but now tainted with whispers of dark ambitions. The crows in the trees seemed more alert than usual, their beady eyes tracking his every move as if sensing the weight of the decision before him. Kael's mind raced back to the days of camaraderie and trust before Sylas's path diverged into shadows. A flicker of anger surged through him at the thought of Sylas exploiting forbidden magic to seize the kingdom. Kael clenched the letter tighter. His calloused hands, bastions of a warrior's life, trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the resurgence of purpose. Images of the kingdom, vibrant and teeming with life, filled his mind, juxtaposed with flashes of darkness, a tapestry corrupted by dark magic if he sat idle. An exile he might be, but a knight at heart he remained. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue through the thickets, Kael made his decision. Exile could no longer bind him to inaction. The realm needed its defender once more. He stood, the message now tucked securely into his belt. Breathing deeply of the forest's crisp air, he turned north, towards the enchanted forest, where he would seek answers and perhaps, redemption. His journey awaited, and with it, the hope of thwarting a power that threatened to unravel the very fabric of the world he longed to protect. The enchanted forest loomed ahead, a realm of mystique where sunlight was but a distant rumour beneath the densely packed canopy. Kael picked his way through the undergrowth, each step a careful negotiation with nature itself. Every sound was amplified in this sacred wood, where mortals traversed at their own peril. Kael's mind was a whirl of questions and trepidation. The forest was as daunting as the uncertainty that occupied his thoughts. Lord Sylas Blackthorn's shadow loomed large, his penchant for forbidden magic an unsettling threat. How dark had Sylas's heart grown while he'd been away. As the path narrowed, a light glimmered through the trees, a clearing, bathed in an ethereal glow. Here stood Elandra, the Seer, her presence as timeless as the ancient oak behind her. Kael, she greeted, her voice a harmonious blend of 1,000 whispers. Her eyes, deep pools of blue starlight, met his with a knowing gaze. Elandra. I seek your counsel, Kael replied, his voice carrying the weight of his burden. She nodded, her delicate hands gesturing to the space beside her. The threads of fate weave ever closer, Knight of Valor. The path you seek is fraught with shadows, yet the light within you holds the key. Kael sat, feeling the pulse of magic in the air. Tell me of Sylas. I need to understand what darkness drives him. Elandra's eyes clouded, her gaze moving beyond the present. Visions danced within the confines of her mind, vivid and tumultuous. He toys with forces best left undisturbed, ancient powers that bind the realm to its very core. But know this, the darkness within him is not born solely of ambition, but of despair. Kael felt a pang of recognition, a deep-rooted empathy for the man Sylas once was, torn between duty and desire. The seer continued, her voice unwavering. Seek the creatures who dwell in myth. Only they can stand against the storm he seeks to unleash. He nodded, understanding dawning like a sunrise after a long night. The task was daunting, but the quest was now clearly defined. I will not fail, Kael vowed. Elandra smiled, a bittersweet expression of hope and caution. Go with the blessings of the ancient realm, and may your heart guide your path. With her words echoing in his soul, Kael turned away from the clearing back into the labyrinth of trees, resolute, with newfound clarity and the certainty that his journey was just beginning. The journey through the kingdom was arduous but invigorating. Each step forward brought Kael closer to beings of folklore and legend. His mission was clear: gather an alliance of mythical creatures to counter the encroaching doom heralded by Lord Sylas. Kael's path first led him to the jagged peaks of the Dragon's Roost, a place where sky and mountain whispered secrets older than the earth itself. Here, the air was crisp and thin, carrying the smoke of the ancient drakes residing above. A booming roar echoed through the valley as a shadow blotted out the sun. The dragon descended, a magnificent creature of midnight scales and eyes like pools of molten gold. "Come forth, human," the dragon's voice rumbled into the wind as it coiled majestically on the rocky plateau. Kael stood tall, though in the presence of such power his courage faltered slightly. "I am Kael Landry, once knight, now humble servant of this realm. To what purpose do you call upon the Elder Wing?" Kael's heart raced as he spoke. "Lord Sylas Blackthorn seeks to shackle this kingdom with dark magic. I beseech you and your kin, lend your strength to defend our home." The dragon considered the plea, its gaze unwavering. A tangible pause filled the air, a silence heavy with expectation and unspoken bonds. Finally, the dragon spoke, its voice a low rumble. "Your cause is just, Kael Landry. The sky shall answer your call." With the dragons as allies, Kael's heart swelled with renewed hope. But the path to victory required more. The next journey took him to the mystical verdant glen, home of the legendary griffins. The glen was alive with magic, the very foliage thrumming with a vibrant energy that seemed to breathe alongside him. Griffins, majestic and wild, observed him from a distance, their eyes capturing the light and shifting it in a kaleidoscope of colors. Approaching with respect, Kael addressed the leader of the Griffin Pride, whose feathers shimmered in the dappled sunlight. "Great ones, I seek your strength and wisdom to stand against the encroaching storm." The Griffin leader's voice was softer than the dragon's, yet resonated with ancient authority. "We sensed the turmoil. The answer lies in unity, for alone, even the mightiest must fall." With nods of understanding, the bond was formed, the mythical creatures of the kingdom pledging their allegiance to thwart Sylas's dark intentions. With allies gathered, Kael's resolve was steel. His journey resumed, now accompanied by whispers of wings in the air and scales in the distance. Together, they would rise to face the threat and protect the sacred balance of their world. The shadow spire stood tall against the backdrop of a stormy sky, jagged and ominous, much like the dark ambitions nestled within its stone walls. Kael approached under the cloak of night, slipping past patrols and eerie silence. The air was thick with tension, danger lurking with every shadow. His breath steady, Kael's thoughts turned inward as he moved deeper into the citadel. "Keep focus," he reminded himself. Sylas cannot be allowed to desecrate the realm. Each corridor seemed to lean in, claustrophobic and daunting. Torches flickered along the walls, casting distorted shadows that danced with a life of their own. Infiltrating the heart of the stronghold, Kael discovered a hidden chamber. The air inside buzzed with arcane energy, a chilling pulse that seemed to vibrate within his very bones. An ancient tome lay open on a pedestal, symbols etched upon its pages shifting and surging with malicious intent. As Kael appraised the room, a familiar voice cut through the silence. "Looking for something, Kael?" Turning swiftly, Kael found himself face to face with Sylas. The years had gone harsh upon Sylas, shadows clinging to him like a second skin. Yet older still was the pain etched into his eyes. "Sylas," Kael replied, the name a somber whisper between them. Sylas's lips curled into a semblance of a smile, though there was no warmth in it. "You've come to stop me, old friend? I won't let you bring ruin to the realm." "The realm? Or yourself?" Sylas taunted. Kael breathed deeply, fighting the rising turmoil inside him. Memories flickered, shared laughter, brotherhood, battles won and lost together. His faith once stood unwavering, only now to be tested by secrets long buried. "The magic you seek to control. It holds us both in its snare," Sylas revealed, a flicker of vulnerability piercing his cold demeanor. Kael's mind reeled at the revelation, a connection intertwined with fate, bonded deeper than knightly vows. "Then I will save us both, Sylas. This isn't who we are." Sylas's face hardened. "It's who I must be." In the charged silence that followed, footsteps echoed outside the chamber, the reality of the moment snapping back. Kael knew time was fleeting. With determination, he seized the tome, tearing the ancient map tucked within its pages. Before Sylas could react, Kael fled back through the shadows, outpacing guards and curses. He exited the spire, a chilling clarity settling upon him. He now carried more than a mission, armed with the knowledge that both his and Sylas's fates were ensnared in magic's grip, a truth he must harness to unravel their impending doom. Emerging from the shadow spire, Kael felt the weight of the revelations press down upon him, heavier than any armor he had worn. Holding the ancient map with its dark secrets, he navigated through the forest, determined to rally those who shared his mission. The moon bathed the landscape in a silvery glow, and when Kael reached the planned meeting point, he found a congregation of allies, warriors, rebels, and creatures of myth, waiting under the canopy. A hush spread through the group as Kael approached. Eyes burned with a mix of fear and determination, reflecting the somber understanding of the battle that lay ahead. "Friends," Kael began, voice carrying a solemnity born of his past and the future in peril. "Lord Sylas's path of ruin is not just his alone. It binds many of us in this dark web. But here, in this moment, we can choose our stand." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly, the night air filled with a shared resolve. A young rebel, face marked by both scars and hope, stepped forward. "Kael, what do you propose we do?" Kael unfolded a map, spreading it across an old stump that served as an impromptu table. This map shows the source of Sylas's power, a nexus of forbidden magic. We cut him off, and dismantle his long reach. As the group huddled closer, a wizened old sorcerer tapped his staff against the ground. "The path is fraught with peril, traps set by those long gone. Yet I see courage amongst us." A griffin, its vast wings folded neatly at its sides, trilled softly, its golden eyes fierce. "We fly, we fight, for this land is ours to protect." Kael nodded gratefully, reminded of Elandra's words about unity. Here he saw it embodied, a kaleidoscope of strength against Sylas's impending tide. "Together, we are stronger than any dark intent," Kael declared, earnestly capturing each eye. "We reclaim our future." As the rebels and creatures discussed tactics, Kael felt a presence at his side, an enigmatic elf, garbed in the colors of the forest. Their voice was barely a whisper, yet carried tremendous weight. "Be wary, Kael. Not all allies are as they seem. Trust in your guiding light." Kael accepted the caution silently, the intertwining paths of fate resonating within him. Tonight marked the dawn of their resolve, a prelude to the confrontation that would define their world. As the stars looked on, Kael and his eclectic band prepared for the dawn's light to signal their march, united in defiance and hopeful for salvation from the darkness threatening to consume their realm. The battlefield unfolded under a tumultuous sky, lightning crackling above as if heralding the earth-shattering conflict below. Kael's heart drummed in his chest, its tempo matching the relentless march of Sylas's approaching forces. The Alliance, humans and mythical creatures alike, were poised for battle. Dragons circled overhead, their roars a metallic symphony that resonated with the warriors' chants. Griffins and elves aligned beside rebels and knights, a menagerie of soul and sinew. A hush fell over the field as Sylas himself emerged, riding a wave of dark magic. The air around him shimmered with an unsettling aura, warping the ethos of the land. Kael stepped forward, his grip firm on the hilt of his sword. Eyes locked onto Sylas, a brotherhood shattered yet soul deep still. "Sylas." Kael's voice cut through the tension, merging with the wind. "This madness ends here." Sylas regarded him, a blend of nostalgia and scorn painted across his face. "Do you really believe you can stop what has already begun, Kael?" "I believe in choice," Kael replied, drawing his blade, its keen edge gleaming under the storm-laden sky. "I believe we are more than our shadows." A battle erupted, chaos choreographed by fate. Kael's sword clashed against Sylas's dark sorcery, the air alive with sparks and echoes of magic. Around them, their forces collided. Dragons belched fire, griffins wielded wind, and human spirit animated the fray. It was a symphony of struggle, each note a testament to the lengths they'd go to reclaim their realm. During the clash, Sylas and Kael were at the eye of the storm, the world narrowed to their shared past and contending present. "I never wanted this," Kael called, parrying a blow that leapt from Sylas's staff. Sylas's eyes flashed, pain ripping through the facade. "Yet here we stand, puppets to fate. We are the knife that cuts the cord," Kael insisted, disarming him with a swift strike. They grappled, raw and real, amidst the tempest. A lifetime of shared memories surged forth. The echo of their training ring, laughter echoing through halls filled with sunlight, images dissipating into the harsh present. In a lucid moment caught in the chaos, Kael spoke, his voice echoing against the backdrop of thunder. "Join me, Sylas. Let us rewrite our story." For a heartbeat, Sylas hesitated, the storm within mirroring the one outside. In that hesitant breath, the battle paused, all eyes on Sylas, the world holding its breath. In his moment of choice, hung the future of the realm. The battlefield lay quiet now, the storm having moved on to distant horizons, its fury spent. Smoke hung low, a somber mist intertwining with the tendrils of dawn's first light. Kael stood amidst it, heart heavy yet victorious, the realm preserved where it might have fallen. Sylas had relinquished his hold on the dark power, choosing self-exile over the kingdom. The price paid by both men was profound, but hope lingered in the air, fragile yet resilient. Against the backdrop of a bloody dawn, figures emerged not as foes but as friends, grizzled rebels and mythical guardians, bound by their trials, surviving the darkest night. The tumult of emotions within Kael was as varied as the hues in the sky. Relief and sorrow, victory and loss, the interweaving of paths forever altered. As he walked, survivors gathered around him, weary yet unbroken. Whispers of gratitude filled the air, respect evident in their gazes. Kael felt a deep sense of belonging he had not realized he craved. Elandra appeared from the shadows of the forest, her presence an ethereal constant. She approached, eyes soft and understanding. "You have redeemed both your honor and your heart," she told him, her words a caress upon his weary soul. "The realm owes you a debt beyond kingship." Kael smiled, the gesture bittersweet. "I owed it to memory, to the man Sylas once was." Elandra nodded, the silent acknowledgement shared. The dragons wheeled above in celebration, a jubilant cry echoing across the horizon, while griffins stirred the air with feathered joy. Amidst this tapestry of lives interwoven through trial and triumph, Kael found a piece of the peace he once thought elusive. The kingdom, alive and vivid, awaited his return, not as a knight bound by duty, but as a man who had willingly borne the weights of past and present, forging a new path not just for himself, but for all. As the sun breached the horizon, casting gold upon the realm, Kael clasped the hilt of his sword, now not as a weapon of war, but as a symbol of newfound harmony. He had come full circle, the rogue knight turned savior, once more found among his people, human and creature alike. A legend renewed, bonds woven through grief and glory. In the echoing dawn, Kael understood, the future was undetermined, a vast expanse of possibility, and therein lay a horizon's worth of hope.